Hey yo, what is going on, guys? My name is DraggSkope, but you can call me Scopey. First and foremost, I just want to personally thank everyone who clicks on this video. Every impression counts, especially when you're new to YouTube like myself. And for that, I promise to keep this video as informative as possible. So get your thinking caps ready. Your Apex IQ is about to increase tremendously. If you came here looking for tips, I got your back. Today we're going to cover 5 of those that'll help you play smarter than better players, or what I like to call keeping a pro mindset. If you think every battle is won purely through skill, you'd be sadly mistaken. More often than not, the winner of anything in life is usually the smarter of the two, not solely because they were better or more skilled. Now before we get any further into this, I just want to say real quick, I'm not a professional player. I'm not some top tier world record holder, none of that. I'm just some guy who really likes this game. I appreciate it for what it is, and I want to help everybody else who's clearly looking for tips enjoy it the same way I do. So forget all the chit chat, let's get into it. Apex has a super high ceiling, right? And coming into it as a newbie can be a little off-putting, but you don't need a super high IQ to keep up with some of the better players in the game. And keeping these fundamentals in mind will help you play with the best, so to say, right? And those 3 fundamentals that I like to always keep in mind are that Apex is a BR, in case you didn't know. Apex is a team game, there's no solo mode, and Apex is a role-based shooter. With those things stated, you need to go into every match with a certain mindset. These tips will help you utilize those fundamentals and give you the ability to punish anyone who doesn't respect those fundamentals. So boom, number 1 is know your role. As I said before, Apex is a role shooter. Passive players should lean towards passive legends. Aggressive players should lean towards aggressive legends. Basically, the main takeaway from this point right here is never put your legend in a position that they're not meant to fill. Moving on, tip number 2 is learn the meta. The meta is an always changing thing as far as weapons and legends. Respawn's fairly transparent, and they always put all the details in the patch notes. If you're not keeping up with this kind of information, you're at a huge disadvantage and you're doing yourself a huge disservice. There's a bunch of ways to keep up with this stuff through Twitter and other media outlets that you can find Respawn on, but knowing what's meta and what's not is a complete game changer. You might like certain things and that's all cool, but when it's time to play competitively and really put numbers on the board, sometimes the things that we quote unquote like don't really quite do the job. For instance, I used to play Lifeline. All low profile legends got nerfed, and since then I moved on to Bloodhound, which lets me play a lot more aggressive. But it's just back to that last tip, knowing your role and not putting yourself in a position that your character isn't meant to provide. Number 3 is understanding the math, and in my personal opinion, this is the most important tip out of all of them. So if you take away anything from this video today, please let it be this one. So boom, right? Base health on every legend is 100. You throw on a white shield, and that's an additional 50 points of damage you can tank. Each segment on the shield lets you tank 25 points of damage respectively. Blue shield will bring you up to 175, and purple and gold will bring you out to 200 at a max. Helmets produce headshot damage as followed: white being 30%, blue being 40%, purple and gold both being 50%. Now onto the heals. Syringes give you 25 health, but take 5 seconds. Med kits give you 100 health, but take 8 seconds. Phoenix kits give you 100 health and 100 shield, but they take 10 seconds. Shield cells give you 25 shield, take 3 seconds. Shield batteries give you 100 shield, but take 5 seconds. Use this knowledge to your advantage and use those time frames to heal accordingly. More often than not, it's more beneficial to pop a shield cell that only takes 3 seconds over a syringe that'll cost you an additional 2 seconds when you're in the middle of a gunfight. As well, if you're keeping track of your damage and you're hitting an enemy for 60 2 times on white shield, then you already know it's your time to get aggressive. That's just an example. Also, keep in mind what your kit is and never put yourself in a position that you'll regret, right? Don't try to collapse on somebody because you broke their shield, but when you're going for the kill, you're going to be out in the open and putting yourself in a position where the whole team can fire on you. But that just comes with time on the game, right? Moving on to tip number 4, play as a team. As dumb as it sounds, a lot of people don't quite understand this. It's the very reason Respawn has declined to add a solo mode. You have 3 weapons in this game: your primary, your secondary, and your team. A free tip that very much ties into this one is stop reloading mid-gunfight if you don't have to. Use up your primary, swap to your secondary, and if they're still not fried, you should be able to duck for cover while one of your teammates swaps out for you. That's the nature of how this game works, plain and simple. We all want those HU level clips where we team wipe, but the truth is, you catch them way more frequently when you and your team are operating together as a well-oiled machine. Don't be that guy looting a whole town away where your team can't help you as soon as you get 1v3'd. Not to mention the fact that while that's going on, your team is left to get 2v3'd. Just don't be that guy. Practice teamwork. It's literally one of the most important things in this game. And the last and final tip is learn the mechanics / practice. Yet another dumb tip, but another really important one nonetheless. Wall bouncing will rarely ever come up, but when it does, not only will it feel awesome, but you'll just know that you have that edge on your opponent. Being the jump master and making sure that your team touches the loot first is crucial early game. These are examples of game mechanics you should be slowly working on throughout your time playing. This game is tough, and it can be discouraging when a player completely outskills you. I get that, but it happens to us all. And the best way to beat better players is to play smarter. The whole point of this video, right? Secure high ground and rarely ever give it up. Play around cover. Poke for damage and constantly heal. Never overcommit in a gunfight until you can secure that kill without putting yourself in a bad position. These are just some of the things to keep in mind. All different factors that are going to come up eventually, and the only way that you'll really master these mechanics is by practicing and sinking a whole lot of hours into the game. And unfortunately, I can't really help you do that. All I can really say is don't get discouraged, keep up the grind. With these 5 tips, anyone from entry level to seasoned vets can find themselves playing smarter than pros. Any game where it's you versus any given number of opponents, the win usually goes to the more knowledgeable player, like I said before. If something is broken in the game, abuse it. Don't sell yourself short if you're playing competitively. Abuse the meta, don't let it abuse you. And with that, guys, I'm going to wrap this video up. If you learned absolutely nothing from this video, or feel I need to improve in any aspect of the content I'm providing here, feel free to voice your opinions in the comments section, respectfully. As well, if you did learn anything, be sure to slap that like button and maybe give your boy a follow to stay up to date. I'm also super active on Twitter at DraggSkope and stream on Twitch nightly at twitch.tv/DraggSkope. Thank you so much for your time once again, and stay blessed, my friends.